South Africa, this is not just another murder case. This is an execution that has shaken the country to its core. Warrick Stock, known to many as DJ Warras, was murdered, and the man accused of pulling the trigger says he fears he could be killed before he even stands trial. Armindo Pacula has abandoned bail, requested a prison transfer, and signaled an intention to plead guilty. But the real question is this: who ordered the hit, and will the truth ever come out? On a quiet Johannesburg morning that should have passed like any other, the name Warrick Stock, popularly known as DJ Warras, echoed through court corridors, radio bulletins, and social media timelines across South Africa. His death has become more than a crime story, it is now a mirror reflecting the country's long struggle with violent crime, cross-border criminal networks, and the fear that follows high-profile killings. At the center of this case is Armindo Pacula, a 25-year-old Mozambican national accused of being the shooter. His second appearance at the Johannesburg Magistrates Court has drawn intense attention, not because court appearances are rare, but because of what he did in court. Pacula abandoned bail, told the magistrate he feared for his life, and asked to be moved out of Johannesburg Prison, also known as Sun City. That single moment changed the tone of the case. When an accused person says they fear being killed behind bars, it signals danger far beyond the courtroom. It suggests powerful emotions, possible retaliation, and a public already convinced of guilt before trial. According to reports, Pacula was arrested at the Marathon informal settlement in eKurhuleni, a place that has often featured in stories of poverty, migration, and crime intersecting in uncomfortable ways. Prosecutors allege he was the triggerman in DJ Warras' murder and have charged him with conspiracy to commit murder, and contravening the Immigration Act. His lawyer has gone even further, stating that Pacula intends to plead guilty. That statement alone sent shockwaves through the public. South Africans are used to drawn-out trials, denials, and technical delays. A possible guilty plea raises painful questions: who ordered the killing, why DJ Warras was targeted, and whether justice will truly reach everyone involved. Adding another layer is the Mozambican consulate in Johannesburg, which has confirmed it is still verifying Pacula's citizenship and tracing his movements into South Africa. This is no longer just a murder case. It is a story of borders, security failures, fear inside prisons, and a country once again asking how a life so publicly lived could end so violently. To understand why this case has gripped South Africa, one must understand who DJ Warras was and what his killing represents. Warrick Stock was not just another name in a police docket. He was a public figure, known in music and entertainment circles, a man whose work placed him in clubs, events, and social spaces where influence and money often mix with danger. When someone like that is killed, the public instinctively looks for a bigger story. Was it a personal dispute, a business fallout, or a planned hit? Police allege the killing was not random, and the charge of conspiracy to commit murder supports that view. This is why the mention of a second accused, Victor Majola, matters deeply. South Africans have seen this pattern before: a shooter arrested quickly, followed by months or years of silence about who planned the crime. The fear expressed by Pacula adds weight to the idea that this killing involved more than one desperate individual. His request to be moved from Sun City Prison to Modderby Correctional Services was granted after he told the court he had received death threats. Prisons in South Africa are already overcrowded, violent, and under strain. When a high-profile accused enters that environment, the risk multiplies. In past cases, such as the murder of soccer star Senzo Maiwa, suspects have also raised safety concerns, and those fears fed public suspicion that powerful figures were pulling strings from the shadows. In DJ Warras' case, the alleged shooter abandoning bail suggests he believes prison is safer than the streets. That alone tells a disturbing story. The prosecution has also revealed that Pacula does not have money and has applied for legal aid. This detail may sound small, but it highlights a larger truth: the people who pull triggers are often not the people who benefit most from the crime. They are frequently young, poor, and easily replaced. The Mozambican consulate's involvement adds another sensitive dimension. South Africa has long struggled with tensions around undocumented migration and crime. By stating that peculiar citizenship is still being verified, the consulate is being careful, but the public debate has already moved ahead. Some voices online are using the case to push anti-immigrant narratives, while others warn against turning a murder investigation into a political weapon. The consulate has said it trusts South African courts to handle the matter fairly. That statement is important because it underlines a basic principle: justice must be based on evidence, not nationality. As the case moves toward its next court date on February 11, 2026, the country waits, not just for legal outcomes, but for answers that explain why DJ Warras died and whether those truly responsible will ever be named. This case also forces South Africans to confront an uncomfortable pattern: high-profile killings followed by partial justice. Over the past decade, the country has watched musicians, whistleblowers, businesspeople, and activists die under violent and often suspicious circumstances. In many of those cases, a shooter is arrested, but the alleged masterminds remain untouched. The murder of rapper Kiernan aka Forbes in Durban is one recent example that still weighs heavily on the public mind. In that case, suspects were later arrested, but questions about who ordered the hit remain unresolved. DJ Warras' killing fits into this painful history. When Pacula's lawyer said his client intends to plead guilty, many people felt a mix of relief and fear. Relief because a guilty plea could bring faster closure, and fear because it might also limit deeper investigations if not handled carefully. A guilty plea does not automatically mean the full truth comes out. It can, in some cases, protect those higher up the chain. That is why prosecutors now carry a heavy responsibility. They must ensure that any plea deal or court process does not stop at the shooter. The fear Pacula expressed about being killed in prison may also suggest he knows more than he has said publicly. Witness intimidation and prison violence are not new in South Africa. There have been cases where accused persons or witnesses died before testifying, conveniently silencing potential evidence. Moving Pacula to Modabi Correctional Services may protect him physically, but it does not remove the underlying risk. This is where the justice system must act with speed and care. Every delay increases suspicion. Every leak fuels rumors. For the public, the emotional weight of this case lies in the sense that DJ Warras' life, like many others, could become just another statistic. His family, friends, and fans deserve more than headlines and hashtags. They deserve a clear explanation of what happened, who planned it, and why. The Immigration Act charge also deserves attention. It reminds us that border control failures can intersect with violent crime in dangerous ways. But it must not distract from the main issue: murder. Too often, immigration violations become the loudest talking point, while the loss of life fades into the background. The Mozambican consulate's cautious approach shows an understanding of this risk. By focusing on verification and cooperation, rather than denial or blame, it keeps the spotlight where it belongs, on accountability. As the case heads toward February, South Africans are watching not just the courtroom, but a system being tested. Can it protect an accused person long enough to uncover the truth? Can it resist political and public pressure? And can it finally break the cycle where justice stops halfway? Beyond the courtroom, the DJ Warras case has reopened deep emotional wounds in a society already exhausted by violence. South Africa records thousands of murders each year, yet certain deaths cut deeper because they feel symbolic. DJ Warras' killing speaks to fears many people carry daily: that success does not protect you, that visibility can make you a target, and that justice often feels distant. The public reaction to Pacula abandoning bail was swift and intense. Some saw it as an admission of guilt. Others saw it as proof that he is a pawn in a bigger game. Social media has been flooded with speculation, some informed, much of it reckless. This is dangerous terrain. When emotions run high, facts can be drowned out. That is why responsible reporting and clear court processes matter more than ever. The case also highlights the harsh reality of South Africa's prison system. Sun City Prison has long been associated with overcrowding and violence. An accused person fearing death there is not surprising, but it is deeply troubling. It raises questions about whether the state can guarantee safety for those in its custody, especially in high-profile cases. If the system cannot protect an accused, how can it protect witnesses, informants, or even ordinary inmates? Morabie Correctional Services may offer better security, but it is not a solution to systemic problems. Historically, when accused persons in major cases have raised safety concerns, the outcomes have varied. In some instances, protective custody has worked. In others, it has failed tragically. These realities add urgency to the DJ Warras case. Every procedural decision now carries emotional and legal consequences. The possibility of a guilty plea also forces a conversation about closure versus truth. For the family of DJ Warras, a plea could mean avoiding a long, painful trial. But for society, it could also mean unanswered questions. Who else was involved? Was this killing ordered? Was it linked to business, personal conflict, or something darker? These questions matter because without answers, the cycle continues. Killings happen, shooters are arrested, and the architects walk free. The Mozambican consulate statement that it trusts South African law is a quiet reminder of international scrutiny. South Africa's justice system is not operating in isolation. How it handles foreign nationals accused of serious crimes sends a message beyond its borders. Fairness, transparency, and firmness must go together. As emotions run high, the risk is that anger will replace analysis. But anger alone does not deliver justice. Careful investigation does. Clear communication does. And courage within the justice system does. The DJ Warras case has now become a test, not just of law, but of national resolve to confront violence honestly. As the court date of February 11, 2026 approaches, the DJ Warras murder case stands at a crossroads. It can become another story where headlines fade, or it can mark a turning point in how South Africa handles organized and contract-style killings. The next steps will matter greatly. If Armindo Pacula follows through on his intention to plead guilty, prosecutors must push beyond the easy win. A conviction without full disclosure would be a hollow victory. South Africans have seen too many cases close on paper while remaining open in the public conscience. The involvement of a co-accused, Victor Majola, suggests there is more to uncover. The justice system must ensure that evidence is followed wherever it leads, even if it points to uncomfortable truths. For the public, the emotional hook of this case lies in its familiarity. People recognize the pattern, and that recognition brings frustration. Yet there is also a quiet hope that this time might be different. That hope rests on transparent court proceedings, strong witness protection, and a refusal to let fear dictate outcomes. The fear Pacula expressed should not be dismissed, but it should also not be allowed to silence him. If he has information about who planned the murder, the state has a duty to extract it lawfully and protectively. The Mozambican consulate's role will continue to be watched closely. Its cooperation with South African authorities sends a positive signal, but it also reminds both countries of their shared responsibility in managing cross-border crime. This case is not about nationality, it is about accountability. For DJ Warras' family, every delay is another wound. For his fans, every rumor feels like an insult to his memory. And for ordinary South Africans, the case is a stark reminder that violence does not discriminate. The true consequence of what happened is not only one man's death, but a society once again forced to confront its fears. Whether the story ends with real justice or quiet disappointment depends on choices made now. Choices by prosecutors, magistrates, prison officials, and investigators. Choices to dig deeper, to resist shortcuts, and to speak plainly to the public. This report is not just about what has happened, but about what must happen next. South Africa cannot afford another half-told story. The nation is watching, listening, and waiting for proof that this time, the truth will not be buried with the victim.